Hi, my name is Kerry Doyle. I live in El Paso, Texas, a few miles from the Mexican border, and I'm interested in using art as a tool to engage border residents in a dialogue that touches both cities. Here in El Paso, Texas, at the Rubin Center for the Visual Arts, we're just about a quarter mile from the border, but many people have not crossed over for 3 or 4 years because of the fear of the violence. This exhibit really had two parts to it. The first part was a year-long conversation between students in El Paso and in Juarez, where we asked students to start to think about what it meant to live on the border. Lately, that means very different things for students in both cities. Juarez has been living under a lot of violence in recent years, and El Paso students have seen that and experienced that to some extent, but there's been a growing distance between the two cities. Our idea was to get the students talking about what sort of things they shared in common, about what the differences were in their lives, and to do that, we had them make pieces of art that were shared, actually physically taken back and forth across the border, and also uploaded online to create a dialogue between the students in both cities. The second half of the project came when we invited local artists who are used to working on the streets. These are artists who are part of artist collectives. They use their art as a tool for activism. We asked them to look and to listen and to incorporate the ideas and the artwork from the students to create a full-scale exhibition here in El Paso and in a second site in Juarez that gave our public an idea of what it meant to be a border youth today.
I've been lucky enough to work with Kerry for the past year and a half. I've known her for 5 years already. I've known her work. I know what she does in Juarez and El Paso. And not only here in the Rubin Center, but outside with the community. In this project, I was lucky enough to get called to collaborate with the youth in Juarez and El Paso. The piece in the back, the largest piece in the gallery, it was a collaboration between David Flores, myself, a few teachers from Isleta Independent, and the most important thing, that a few of Francisco Delgado's students came over and painted with us, which was the main point of this project, to collaborate with the kids and create that type of dialogue between the artists and the youth.
In Juarez, Mexico, the show is at the Rodadora Children's Museum, and again, because of a lack of papers, because of an inability to cross across the border, a lot of people in Juarez haven't been here as well. So we're using art and we're using the exploration of border youth in these spaces as a way to provoke dialogue among people who visit the spaces and to have them think a little bit about these connections and the way that these students are sharing both a current reality and that they'll share a future as well.
Conectarte is a really cool artistic platform for artists to help promote change in the city of Juarez. So yeah, Kerry, who is at the Rubin Center, I met her through this event, Conectarte, and she's been very inspirational. And I think we want everyone to start empowering themselves to do it. Just do it. Just whatever, whether you're a musician or a poet or an artist, if you have an idea, you're a creative thinker, get outside of your house, get outside of your garage, do it. We need more people to be vocal. We need more people to actually come out of their shell, so to speak, and start doing. When we start doing is when we'll start seeing change.
I think a lot of the issues on the border come from a very careful and articulated communication between business interests, between binational processes like arms trade and drugs trade, and a lack of communication between the majority of border residents who want the same things for themselves, for their children, for the future. And so this idea of getting everyday people in conversation with each other, getting them to see, again, what they have in common, but also to appreciate the strong differences that come in such a short geographical distance, to understand where those come from and how they might respond to them. It's important to me.
I have sort of a long-standing working relationship with Kerry, and she's phenomenal to work with. She's very dedicated to the community, and she carries sort of a unique background too. She was born in the United States, but has done a lot of social justice work in Juarez and has lived over there at some point. So she traverses between the two countries with such seamlessness. And I think I can't think of a better person to pull a project like this off, because it is huge at the heart of it. I mean, working with 8 schools, artists, just the supplies, and really continuing to try to keep focus on what it is we wanted to achieve as a goal for the project.
I always have lived in both spaces. I came to the border first in 1991, and I have a relationship with both cities, with people, with places, experiences that is really rich to me. I think the border is an interesting place to understand the way that our two countries connect, to understand how we function globally, and I think to understand that, you have to be in conversation with people, and it's my interest and my pleasure, my joy to get people in conversation with each other, to have them start to address these issues on a personal level, and I think art provides a perfect vehicle to do that.